It was just after midnight on July 2, 2017, when the radar screens aboard the SS Monterey, a well-equipped research vessel, blinked erratically before going blank as it sailed through the notorious Bermuda Triangle. In the calm of the ocean's embrace, under a sky littered with stars, something inexplicable happened. The air chilled suddenly, and a dense, unnatural fog rolled over the deck, obscuring everything in sight. The crew, seasoned yet unprepared for such an anomaly, stood frozen as the compass spun wildly, unable to settle on north. As quickly as it appeared, the fog dissipated, leaving behind an unsettling silence and a baffling mystery. Their state-of-the-art equipment had recorded sounds deep, haunting tones that seemed almost otherworldly. What secrets does the Bermuda Triangle hold beneath its surface, and what was the source of those eerie sounds lost in the ocean's abyss? Following the unsettling encounter with the phantom fog and unexplained acoustic anomalies, the SS Monterey continued its voyage deeper into the heart of the Bermuda Triangle. The ocean around them seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The water, typically a vibrant blue by day, now appeared almost black under the moonlight, reflecting the stars above yet hinting at unfathomable depths below. The air was heavy, saturated with a salty dampness that clung to the skin and filled the lungs with each breath. As dawn approached, the horizon remained shrouded in a mist that blurred the boundary between sea and sky. The sun, usually a welcome sight, rose as a dim orb, struggling to penetrate the persistent fog that had settled over the waters. It cast long, eerie shadows that danced across the deck, creating fleeting, ghost-like figures. The ship creaked ominously, as if protesting the intrusion into this cursed domain. Each wave that slapped against the hull resonated with a hollow sound, as though the ocean itself whispered secrets in a language lost to time. The crew felt a growing sense of isolation, the vastness of the sea enveloping them in a cocoon of silence, save for the occasional creak of the ship and the distant, mournful call of a seabird. It was as if they had sailed into another world, a realm where the rules of nature were twisted by unseen forces. The Bermuda Triangle held them in its grasp, a place steeped in legends of vanished ships and lost souls, where every creak and splash carried the weight of centuries of mystery. Aboard the SS Monterey, the enigmatic Captain Elliot steers the ship through the mysterious waters of the Bermuda Triangle. A veteran mariner with decades of experience, Elliot's weathered face and intense, searching eyes speak of a life spent battling the capricious moods of the sea. Despite his gruff exterior, Elliot is driven by a deep-seated curiosity and a personal quest to uncover the truth behind the maritime myths that have haunted his family for generations. Joining him is Mara, the ship's lead researcher, whose sharp intellect and youthful enthusiasm for marine mysteries contrast with Elliot's seasoned skepticism. Mara, with her knack for technology and unshakable belief in the supernatural, hopes to validate her theories about electromagnetic anomalies within the triangle. Together, they form a dynamic duo, each complementing the other's strengths and weaknesses, bound by their shared fascination with the unexplained and the unexplored. The first signs were subtle. As the SS Monterey cut through the dark waters of the Bermuda Triangle, the ship's instruments began to behave erratically. The compass, already unreliable, spun faster, as though caught in the grip of some invisible force. The sonar emitted strange pulses, returning distorted echoes from the ocean floor that hinted at shifting depths, impossibly deep trenches, and unidentifiable shapes. The crew dismissed it as a mechanical glitch, but Mara knew better. She scribbled furiously in her notebook, her mind racing with theories of magnetic fields and hidden underwater structures. Then, the temperature dropped sharply, as if the ship had crossed an unseen threshold. The air became unnaturally still, and a faint hum began to emanate from the depths below, growing louder with each passing moment. The hum wasn't mechanical, it felt alive, resonating through the hull and into the very bones of those aboard. Elliot, who had seen his fair share of storms and rogue waves, was uncharacteristically tense, his knuckles white on the ship's wheel. The sea, calm just moments ago, now seemed to ripple with an unseen current, pushing the ship off its intended course. Late into the night, Mara's equipment detected a series of rhythmic, low-frequency sounds that didn't match anything in the ship's database. "It's a pattern," she whispered, her voice tinged with awe and fear. It's communicating. The signal grew stronger as they approached what appeared to be a massive underwater ridge, visible only as a faint shadow on the sonar. Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered, plunging the crew into temporary darkness. When the lights returned, the ocean ahead seemed to glow faintly, an eerie bioluminescence illuminating an otherworldly landscape beneath the waves. Strange, towering structures, almost like ruins, loomed in the depths, their shapes too symmetrical and precise to be natural. The hum became a low, guttural growl, and the water churned violently, as if the sea itself were alive and angry. Mara's voice broke through the chaos. This isn't just a discovery, it's a warning. Elliot ordered the crew to pull back, but the ship wouldn't respond. The SS Monterey was no longer in control of its own journey, caught in the grip of something far beyond human understanding. The SS Monterey had reached the epicenter of its unintended course, an expanse of ocean that seemed to defy the laws of nature. The water ahead glowed brighter now, the bioluminescence forming shifting patterns that pulsated with an unnerving rhythm. Mara's trembling hands clutched her recording device as the rhythmic hum transformed into an otherworldly roar, a sound so primal it resonated in the very marrow of the crew's bones. From the depths below, the impossible began to rise. A massive, shadowy figure emerged, its form partially obscured by the glowing water. At first, it looked like a mountain ascending from the ocean floor, but as it surfaced, it became clear this was no natural formation. Gigantic, coiled appendages, covered in phosphorescent markings, broke the surface, each movement slow and deliberate, as if testing the fragile world above. The sheer size of the creature was staggering. It dwarfed the SS Monterey, casting the vessel into its shadow. Mara gasped as the ship's floodlights illuminated what appeared to be a massive, unblinking eye staring back at them, its gaze ancient and inscrutable. The creature let out a deafening bellow that sent shockwaves through the water, rocking the Monterey violently. Elliot, his face pale but resolute, shouted orders to stabilize the ship, but it was clear they were no longer in control of their fate. Without warning, one of the creature's tentacles slammed into the water beside the ship, creating a wave so large it nearly capsized them. Another tentacle brushed against the hull, leaving deep, jagged gashes in its metal surface. Mara, still clutching her equipment, whispered, "It's not attacking, it's warning us. We've trespassed." In a desperate attempt to escape, Elliot steered the Monterey away from the creature, but the water around them churned violently, trapping them in a vortex. The creature's roar grew louder, reverberating in a way that felt less like a sound and more like a message. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the creature retreated into the depths, leaving behind a haunting silence and a sea that shimmered with an unnatural light. The crew, battered and terrified, realized they had encountered something beyond human comprehension, something meant to remain hidden. The SS Monterey floated in stunned silence, its crew shaken to their cores. The once steady vessel now bore the scars of its encounter with the unfathomable. Deep gashes marred the hull, and the deck was littered with shattered equipment and fragments of the crew's shaken resolve. Captain Elliot stood at the helm, gripping the wheel with trembling hands, his once unshakable demeanor now cracked under the weight of what he had witnessed. Mara, hunched over her recording device, replayed the sounds captured from the depths. The rhythmic hum, now faint, seemed almost mournful, as if the creature's retreat was not one of victory but of warning. Her notebook lay open beside her, its pages filled with frantic sketches of the massive tentacles and glowing patterns that now haunted her mind. She glanced at Elliot, her voice barely above a whisper. "What was that? How do we explain it?" Elliot didn't answer. His gaze remained fixed on the horizon, where the faint glow of the bioluminescent waters was slowly fading. The ocean seemed calmer now, as if the sea itself was trying to erase the evidence of what had transpired. Yet, the air remained heavy, laden with an oppressive silence that even the gentle lapping of waves couldn't break. The crew moved about the deck like ghosts, their eyes wide with fear, avoiding each other's gaze as if speaking aloud might summon the creature back. As night fell, the Monterey limped away from the site, its engines groaning under the strain of the damage. The stars above seemed indifferent to the horrors below, twinkling serenely in a sky that offered no answers. Elliot finally broke the silence. "We leave this place. No records, no reports. Let the ocean keep its secrets." But Mara couldn't let go. In her mind, the creature's roar was not a cry of aggression but a plea, a warning from an ancient being to a species too bold in its quest for answers. As the Monterey disappeared into the night, the ocean closed behind it, an unknowable expanse guarding secrets too vast for the human mind to comprehend. The SS Monterey returned to port weeks later, but the crew who disembarked were not the same as those who had set sail. Their eyes held a haunted look, and their silence was unnerving. Captain Elliot, once a man of ironclad resolve, now avoided the sea entirely, spending his days locked away in his cabin, poring over ancient nautical charts and cryptic journal entries. Mara, however, could not rest. Her dreams were consumed by the creature's unblinking eye, its vast, inscrutable gaze boring into her soul as if trying to convey a message no human could decipher. The data she had collected was fragmented and incomplete, corrupted by the ship's mysterious malfunctions. The signals from the depths formed patterns, but none that made sense in any known language or system. What little she could analyze pointed to something ancient, possibly older than human civilization itself. Was the creature a guardian of some underwater relic? Or was it merely a pawn in an even greater cosmic game? The final journal entry in the Monterey's logs was cryptic. "It is not the sea we should fear, but what lies beneath. We ventured too far, sought too much. The ocean gave us a warning and perhaps, mercy." Yet the details of their journey were left deliberately vague, leaving no concrete evidence of the horrors they had witnessed. The Monterey's voyage became just another whisper in the annals of maritime lore, blending into the countless tales of the Bermuda Triangle's enigmatic pull. Mara often returned to the shoreline, staring out at the endless horizon, where the sea's vastness seemed to stretch beyond comprehension. She would close her eyes and hear the hum, faint and distant, like a voice carried on the waves, reminding her of a world humanity was never meant to understand. And so, the story ends where it began, with the ocean timeless, impenetrable, and holding its secrets tight. The Bermuda Triangle remains a place of unanswered questions, a realm where the line between reality and myth blurs, leaving one to wonder, what else waits in the shadows of the deep, unseen, and unknowable? The ocean holds secrets we may never fully comprehend, but together, we can explore these mysteries one story at a time. If this journey into the Bermuda Triangle intrigued you, don't let the story end here. Subscribe to see Tragedies for more tales of the deep, where the known and the unknown collide. Like, share, and comment with your theories. What do you believe lies beneath the waves? Until next time, stay curious.